It is a beautiful night here just outside of Boston. A slight breeze, but the New York Empire in town to battle the Boston Glory to start week 4 in the Ultimate Frisbee Association here on Friday Night Frisbee. Through 3 weeks in the East Division, Philly and Boston remain undefeated. The New York Empire and the Boston Glory both have 2 games this weekend. And with that, we say welcome to Free Friday Frisbee with Ian Toner. I am Evan Lepler. And Ian, the New York Empire feel like they're at a crossroads just a little bit. They're missing a couple top players tonight. They have lost 1 of their first 3 games. They haven't lost 2 of their first 4 in 8 years. And back in 2017 was the only time they didn't make the playoffs. How important is tonight and this weekend for New York?
We've been talking all week about how this is Prove It week across the league. This is the Prove It moment for the New York Empire this weekend. They're going.
Teammate Ben Yap picks him up. Babbitt just shy of the goal line. Tanner Johnson go, not in yet. But Boston has the break, and it's Brendan McCann skying over John Randolph for the opening score. Timeout. We'll see if he's ready to go. Brendan McCann's guarding Rushmeyer Bailey. Those guys are close, and the shot to Yacht is a bullet right on target from Calvin Brown, and it's a break for New York.
But he's also going to keep the defense more honest and expand the capabilities of your offense.
Orion Cable ripping it deep. DeCrona versus Fay in the end zone. Intercepted. Floating reset. Randolph rips it down. DeCrona avoids the contact. Tristan Yarder back with the Empire tonight. Gets a touch, and what a turnaround we've got here. Have you ever seen a team feel like they were on the brink after 1 point? About his team going into this game. Now, he likes his squad a lot, but he did tell us, I'm not sure if they're as good as they think they are. You know, coming off 2 relatively smooth wins against Montreal, but that's a nice connection. DeCrona to Babbitt. Jason Tatum's absence, and it kind of energized them in a different way to lose a top player that you rely so much on. It changes the geometry as the deep shot goes to Babbitt, and Jeff Babbitt skies a 2-pair of New York defenders. Simmons and Yarder are no match for the 2-time MVP. Wow.
This is Jeff's turf. This is his field. And look at Yarder, peeling off, help defender, trying to get the body on him right away, doing everything that a defensive coordinator would instruct you to do, and it doesn't matter. McCann's got to hold him back. That's something else right there.
Finally, Sadok gets a touch, feeds Davis, and a little blade made Jeff Babbitt work for it. But it's number 2 of the night for Babbitt.
Well, I also heard lefty backhand.
And here it is. DeCrona versus Fay. Again. This time, Toba rises up and throws the score. DeCrona to Babbitt. Electric.
I'm looking at all these faces as we scan through the crowd, and there are jaws on the floor, just in awe.
Look how high he got. He went. Babcock returning to Boston after 3 years not playing. Into the end zone, it's denied. Oliver Fay, like a free safety roaming the deep space, able to block. Through 9 games, Boston might be in good position. They probably need to be in good position because that's a tough 3-game gauntlet to close things out. Smooth sailing to start the second half for the Empire offense. Babbitt with a disc 5 yards shy of the goal line, resets. It's Backer with some pretty good red zone defense from New York, forcing the tough throw, but when you have a release valve like Jeff Babbitt.
I think there's entirely a world where they're perfectly competitive, and there's also a world where
Deep shot for Chartok. And he outraces Carrero to the end zone. It's a nice put and an important Empire hold. Relatively quiet evening from Orion Cable. Of course, someone on this Boston O-line theoretically has to be on the quieter side. They've got a lot of dynamic cutters downfield.
Yeah, I think that's...
Well, Cable on cue, drops the hammer.
By Boston's Jason Tapper. That's not easy to do. Make John Randolph go to his third look.
Another shot from Brown to Yacht. And Yacht with a left hand rips it down. Majestic put from Calvin Brown. Ben Yacht did the rest.
That's what this offense is capable of when Brown has some space.
And this is 4 1/4 minutes to play in this third period. Cable on the big swing, lets it rip. A laser beam forehand. DeCrana on his horse. Toba DeCrana brings it in for the Boston score.
Well, the only reason that Cable had that uncontested deep shot was because the Empire defender Jacob Cowan was the last back defender earlier in the sequence, and he had peeled off.
Boston to 3-0, heading into a showdown at DC on Sunday. Yacht, uncontested catch near the sideline. Randolph out there on offense this point.
Not an easy throw there from Calvin Brown to get the New York offense out of jail right off the get-go.
Labar to Chartok. That's a Boston hold in 29 seconds. Or excuse me, a New York hold. He was warming up. It was questionable, but they did not decide to activate him. And Jack Williams also tweaked a hamstring in practice Wednesday. Floater testing Shepard, but it's a sky for Cable. Oh, looks like Shepard had it sized up. But when Orion Cable wants a Frisbee that's high in the air, he usually takes it. Under 30 seconds now in the third. Remember, Boston will receive to start the fourth. Babbitt finds the space.
DeCrana jogging off the field before Babbitt even caught it. How about that step around and release point from the Belgian star?
Yacht a long way from a potential buzzer-beating goal right now with 8 seconds. Now Yacht trying to get on his horse toward the end zone. Calvin Brown throws a low laser, and it's going to work. Oh my goodness, what a throw. Shapiro was open, and that low laser that was never more than a few feet off the ground finds.
How did that work?
Glory trying to beat the Empire and Breeze in the same weekend, but get New York at home and DC on the road, and a smooth start to this fourth quarter would go a long way. But that throw, oh my goodness, did DeCrana get there? Wow, I can't believe it. Who is this guy? Toba DeCrana on a throw that looked destined for the ground. How did he do that?
What, did he do that? Are we sure that didn't touch the ground?
I thought it was going to the ground, but on that to Dick. And beg your pardon, it was Davis, and his deep shot going for Carapella. Shankalati's there defensively and wins the battle. Another phenomenal pull, round from the back of his end zone. Rushmeyer Bailey continues for Labar. He's got Shapiro going. Everest makes the adjustment and brings it in. Still 20 yards to go. Randolph. Hammer. Yacht.
I'm really intrigued by this deployment and utilization. You know, okay, I guess you want to have his big shot ability on the turn if you can get a turn. There you go. Shankalati coming through.
Whistles everywhere and concern over the status of Alati.
This is crazy.
This is do or die time for the Empire. They need to score here and relatively quickly. I would have thought about a timeout there, but to get it to Jonas and now up the line and into the end zone. Axel, Agami, Contreras. If they can just complete passes for the next 2 minutes, they can head on to Wegmans with the fellas, but it's not going to be that straightforward. Brownlee creates the turnover. Shapiro with a good holster to the middle for Randolph. A lot of space on the far side of the field. New York is within one.
Holy smokes.
Cowan. That's another break for the... Doesn't get a whistle, and now the stall count is rising.
Remember, Boston does have a timeout if they find themselves in a jam.
DeCrona deep for Cable, testing Yacht. Ben Yacht has the block, and New York has a chance to tie.
With a timeout.
30 seconds to go. Empire do have one timeout as Brownlee throws it, and Agami Contreras able to keep it alive to Simmons with 20. And Agami Contreras is shaken up. If he didn't make this catch.
Well, I love the message of just worry about using your offense and not thinking about the clock.
John Randolph is in the end zone. It's a 4-0 New York run. And we are tied with 13 seconds to go. Sadok picks up, gives it to Dick. 13 seconds for Sadok, and now Tanner Johnson go. He's been in this spot before. Sadok with 6. Tanner Johnson go, lets it fly. Looking for Jeff Babbitt, surrounded in the end zone. It's knocked down. Babbitt's calling for a foul. The official says it's incomplete. And we are headed to overtime. All right, Toba's on the sidelines. Cable with a stall count rising. Able to connect with Davis.
Phenomenal dump defense from Agami Contreras.
Cable calling for it. Cable pulls it in. Back corner of the end zone. Those were just the two guys that were questionable coming into tonight. Near the middle of the field, and Shapiro fortunate to avoid a collision there and keep possession alive as well. LeBar into the end zone for Rushmeyer Bailey. Not since 2004, though. Cable. And then crossfield for Babbitt. He's all alone. If he can read it well, he's got it, and he does. Boston back up 1. Brown surveys the end zone, resets Rushmeyer Bailey with the defender draped on his back. Kelvin Brown throws a turn. There was a lot of contact. Rushmeyer Bailey's down.
Tyler Chan anticipating. Let's see if he went through.
So Boston's going to get the disc, and there's only 10 seconds left. And the 20-yard technical foul penalty gives them a little breathing room instead of playing right near their own end zone. Glory is 10 seconds from escaping New York's crazy comeback. Double team, timeout, Boston. Is stopped with 4 seconds left. New York does have a timeout. Oh, no, they don't. We got to take that off. New York out of timeouts. Boston needs one more completion. They throw it length of the field, and that'll do it. Toba DeCrona has the game-sealing completion, and the Boston Glory have survived and taken the overtime result over their New York rivals. Once again, the final score here at Hormel. Glory 19, Empire 18. Another epic chapter in this classic East Division rivalry. A crazy and some might say controversial finish to tonight's action here in Boston. The Glory win it in overtime, 19-18 over the Empire to improve to 3-0. Boston's at DC on Sunday. Our Pabst Light player of the game, Jeff Babbitt, standing by with Grace. Grace, take it away.
Jeff, how are you feeling right now?
Ooh, a little bit of relief, a lot of pride in my team. It's a gritty win against a really talented team, a team that we know we're going to see in the playoffs, and I'm pretty excited about how it turned out.
What does it mean to you personally to play against New York?
I have a lot of emotions about it, good and bad. It's wild playing against your old best friends and your old team that I had so much success with, but it's still a lot of fun.
How often do you think about that last game against New York last season?
Honestly, not very much. Yeah. We didn't win the championship. That's what I'm here to do. It was a big moment, but after it happened, we didn't win. That's it.
You've been looking extra terrifying this season. You put in a lot of work in the off season. It really is showing. What does the rest of the season look like for you guys? Like road to champ weekend?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of practice for us. We're working on a lot of the kinks in the offense and defense, but all the talent's there. There's a lot of raw athleticism on this team, raw talent. We just got to put the pieces together, and this was the first step.
Perfect, amazing.